When and where were you sworn into the bar?
In Hartford. And my first job was clerking at the Connecticut Supreme Court.
How long did you clerk for Justice
Just 1
Loisel?
year. It's just a 1-year job.
Right. What did you think about in terms of your next position?
Well, naturally, I wanted to get a job, and I forgot how I heard about it. But I applied for a job at Ribicoff and Kotkin, and I got interviewed, and they offered me the job. And I had the wonderful opportunity to work with a lot of the different ones doing things like tax and estates and litigation, things that gave me a really broad exposure to different kinds of law instead of family law, a little immigration, yeah. And then the Young Turks decided they were leaving, and they were going to form their own firm, and they invited me to come too. And so I was just delighted. And they opened a firm, Loudon, Byrne, Schechtman, Slater, and Rose. Everybody had their name in it, you know? But it was just great.
Were all of the Young Turks men?
Yes.
So you were the only woman that was
I was
invited
the only
to the
woman.
new?
Yeah, yeah.
How did you find life in the new firm, the Loudon Burns firm?
Well, it was just great, except I began to realize that I was not going to make partner. There was another associate, and it seemed to me that he was likely to be made a partner soon. And at that point, I started talking to Sheila O'Neill, and the two of us decided to talk to Gail Costo, and the three of us decided that we would go on our own. And so that the three of us made the largest all-woman firm in Connecticut. It only took 3 people. So we got some publicity for that.
I'll say. And how many years had you been out of law school when you launched your firm with Sheila O'Neill and Gail Costco?
4 years. We started in 1980, and the firm is still intact.
I'd love to hear more about how your clients felt about hiring women lawyers and hiring a woman-owned firm.
I think one thing that helped a whole lot was not only that Sandra Day O'Connor and Ruth Bader Ginsburg had changed the world, but also that men began to have daughters who were becoming lawyers. And when their daughters were deciding to go to law school, they thought, oh, you know, my daughter's pretty sharp. Maybe these lawyers are pretty sharp too.
I love your reference to your original law firm as a sisterhood. Mm-hmm. Were there other advantages, in your view, to having a woman-owned law firm that you had founded with your friends?
Back when we first got organized, there were not so many women practicing as there are today, and we formed a group of women lawyers, Connecticut Women's Lawyers or something like that, and we used to meet for lunch. Then what happened was we kind of outgrew it. You know, there were so many women lawyers, and so we didn't need to have that kind of solidarity, sisterhood anymore.
Your professional career, both before you went to law school and after you became a lawyer, encompassed a period of time when there were some pretty interesting historical events that took place. Was there an impact on your career by some of the things that were going on in the world?
As the Supreme Court changed its tenor, it got harder to win things for the underdog. But we have always kept a pro bono section to our practice because that's what you feel good about, you know, that you help somebody who otherwise could not have prevailed against the system. to prevail, and that feels very good. So what has happened in the world is, of course, immigration has become a much bigger issue. People talk about it. People campaign about it. I mean, in the beginning, it was just something we did. It's become more difficult, more challenging than it was originally, but it still involves real people. Whereas, although you can win a nice tax case and feel good about it, it's just money, Whereas this is real people, and you figure somebody's life has changed.
I'd love to hear a little bit about what you think might be the high points and the low points of that career.
Law is so much about winning. In the kind of work we do, it's not just litigation where you hope to win a lawsuit, but it's in many administrative situations, are you going to get the benefit that you have applied for, or will your client be denied it? Well, obviously you don't win everything that you go for. We did for a long time. For a long time we were able to say, we haven't gotten a denial. And then the world changed a bit, and the Immigration Service became more difficult to deal with. So we have had a few denials over the years.
Did becoming a lawyer meet your expectations for what it would be as a career?
It's been better. It's really been better. Every day is something interesting. I remember when I started law school, I looked at the cases they gave us, and I thought, this is like an Ann Landers column. And those strange situations still come our way. And you think, oh boy, I haven't seen this one before. Let's figure out what we can do about this one.
How do you view the role of lawyers in the world today?
I think our job is to be a good coach and to help people achieve things. And luckily, my wins do not come at the expense of a loss by somebody else. Now, it may be harder in a pure litigation, two opposing parties situation than it is for me, because I am working against the rules in the system to win something for my client, but nobody else is going to suffer if my client gets what they should have.
Betty, I just want to make sure I've given you an opportunity to tell me anything else that's important or interesting.
I just think I have been so blessed to have run across this career where, as you notice, I didn't start out thinking I would do this at all. Serendipity came along, and I found this absolutely fabulous thing to do that I turned out to be good at, and that is interesting every day. So I don't know that you can ask for much more. That's really just, I don't stop counting my blessings, because there's no way to stop.